Ooh, ooh. Big fish-ish, man. Y'all know what it is. Yeah, I just saw a video. Yeah, we getting right into it. I just saw a video of South Beach. There was a shooting. A couple people got shot, and it's wild. It's wild. And I don't know why the phrase keeps coming to mind when these situations happen. Where I relate everything to sports. Y'all know that, but good teams don't beat themselves, and good cultures don't kill themselves, and good cultures don't destroy their communities and each other. And we probably have the most self-destructive culture among black people in America, maybe throughout the world, maybe ever. I just don't get it. This shooting occurred. It's funny. I put up a video, a little story on my post, a story on my Instagram, and I was working out on South Beach. The only reason, really why I go there now, unless I'm going south of Fifth, to the restaurants and stuff, and to that beach. I don't even hang out on what is known as South Beach anymore, where we used to be all the time. Where it just seemed like even if there were a lot of people out there, it was just a different energy then compared to now. Maybe just because I'm a little bit older, but it's really on demon time out there. Like you feel that. It's funny when I used to wake up in Vegas. By the third or fourth day, I feel like, yo, this gotta be what hell feel like. You drinking all day. It's that dry heat. You just ready to go home, man. You like, all right, I had enough of this. I'm ready to come home. But being down there in Miami, like I said, I'm finishing up my workout. I take a little video of just how many people are just in one area, and to me, that makes me nervous. I've never really liked crowds. I hated crowds growing up. Never wanted to be in places where there were too many people. I remember coming out of the hotel. We were in San Francisco. I was in San Francisco with my family, and we got outside the hotel. And you could ask my mom and dad. Maybe Jess will remember as well. But I just said, like, why didn't y'all leave me home with Nan and Pop? Like, just because it was overwhelming. And still to this day, crowds don't necessarily make me nervous, but the wrong crowd will. And big on reading energy. And if the energy's off in a crowd, then I just won't, I won't feel comfortable, and I just won't hang out in that particular area. So, like I said, I was taking this video. I was only there because I was walking through from Muscle Beach, where I work out, to go catch my lift. And all I wrote on the post was too much. It's too much. That same night, within 2 blocks, is where the shooting occurred, where two people were shot. They both were brought to the hospital, and one was pronounced dead, and I believe one is still in critical condition. I haven't followed up with it, followed the story, I should say. But it's just, it it's twofold. On one end, it's like, damn, this is wild, this is crazy, like it's scary. But on the other end, you're damn near numb to it. You're numb to it. Like, here, think about this. This is a vacation spot. Like, if this happened in another country, like, think about what just happened there. I'm not even too familiar with that. But if this happened in any other country, in a vacation spot, like, this is not in, some little neighborhood outside of South Beach. This is South Beach on 7th and Ocean, where all different types of people come to eat, to walk around, to people watch, to just chill and enjoy, whether it's spring break or any other time of the year, within 2 blocks. Like, you go to south of Fifth, when I mentioned earlier, Fifth and Ocean, that point and south, some of the most wealthiest pieces of properties, like apartment buildings, condos, homes, restaurants, the top restaurants. That's where Prime is, Carbone, all these. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And I understand it, but I don't get it, I should say. There's not enough police out there. If there's going to be that many people, there has to be a lot more cops out there. And there were a couple, during the day, and I get it. The cops that are there, they don't want to be all on people because then people complain about that. Forget all that. There needs to be a lot more cops to handle that many people. I remember being out there right after, I guess, in the middle of the pandemic, when something similar happened. I think there was a shooting out there, and they pretty much had a state of emergency, which they ended up doing this weekend as well, I believe, where they closed off. It was like from 5th Street to 15th, and from Washington down. You couldn't, like, everything was shut down at like 6 or 7 o'clock. You couldn't even get an Uber in, Uber out, Lyft in, Lyft out. You couldn't, like, they had barricades up. And it made me, I changed my hotel immediately. My hotel was at the point was near 8th and Collins. I'm sorry, 9th and Collins. And I moved to, I don't know, it was like 20th and Collins. To a different hotel just because the energy out there was different. I'm like, hold up. If they're trying to keep everybody in here, businesses closed at 6, 7 o'clock, what are people doing? And I can remember that same trip where my boy, I was staying at the same hotel as a couple other people that I came down with. My homegirl just happened to be, her room was kind of, it's like set up almost like there's a hotel and then there's suites, and there's an alleyway that kind of lead towards those. So the alley's in the middle of the actual building, and then the suites building. And she was in the front of the suites building. I was in the back, and I had went up to go grab her from her room, and we were gonna go somewhere. But my boy Bez, he came to my door, and there were a couple people just sitting outside the door. Like, they had a couple chairs set up there. But there were just kind of people, just too many people in the alley, like right in front of my door. So when I'm coming in, when I'm leaving, all this type of stuff. And my boy goes up to my door, and he's knocking. And before, I guess he said, like, as he was knocking, they had already told him, I was like, oh yeah, you looking for your mans? Like, your mans with the locks? Like, yeah, he up front. He just went to go, I'm telling you, he went to, with old girl, like, he went to, up to the front room. And my boy, like, what? Like he was so caught off guard. He's like, yo, why are y'all clocking my man? And if it's that easy, we don't need to be here. We don't need to stay in this hotel. So we moved. And I say all that just to say, there's too many people down there. There's not enough cops. And maybe more importantly than anything else, the energy is off. It's demon time. I don't care what y'all say about the music, how it doesn't impact. The music, the culture, whether you could say one's impacting the other, it's all garbage. It's all garbage. It is a scary culture that we are a part of, to the point where you get a bunch of us together and it's just either violent, too sexual, or just overall ignorant energy. And we can blame this person, but I'm not. That's not what this is about. This is about just us understanding that we are self-destructing, and we have been for a while. But this whole demon time, it really is demon energy. I'm telling you, you're out there. Everything's just, and besides the violence, like everything about it, when I was walking to my lift or walking to the gym on the beach, just was super unhealthy and just, I guess you would just call it destructive. Um, People dressing damn near, I get we're on a beach, but like the dress is like, you look like a prostitute. You look terrible. You've got, you don't even look like you're dressed for the beach. Like you have on a beach outfit, but you don't like, yeah. And I'm struggling to say this, but you know, all the extravagant fake hair, fake butt, fake, like hair all crazy colors, lashes out to here, caked up faces. It's hot, so it's melting. It's just look, ugh. And not to make fun of anybody, but it's just we are unhealthy, and our bodies just are vessels that pretty much they it's kind of, our bodies just represent our health in a lot of ways. Now, yes, you can have unhealthy people who, you know, have a nice whatever. Overall, our bodies reflect our health levels, and it's just bad. Like everybody's drugged up, you know, smoking, drinking. Everybody, and I'm not even criticizing the drink and the smoke. You know, a lot of different cultures drink, smoke, have a good time. But for some reason, when you mix in our demon destructive culture, I have a bird friend on the balcony. When you add in that demonized destructive culture to the drugs, to the unhealthy behavior, it's just it just to me creates a formula for death, and it's bad. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And you know, here on the, you know, going back to the video of the two people being killed, if that happened in on any other resort or in any other country that's known for vacation, that would destroy the brand. That would destroy a lot of business when it comes to that particular area. But for some reason in Miami, I guess when it's a black person, it doesn't mean anything. There will be the same amount of people or more there next week, like the following week, and the week after that. Because it just doesn't matter. And maybe that's the numbness that I'm talking about, where when you have just so much nigga energy, you're not surprised when nigga things happen. And that's what our culture is. And it's, how can we, it's so funny to me too, because we probably live in a time where, at least out of, you know, my lifetime, where there's been such a spiritual understanding when it comes to energy, you know, all the fake wokeness, not talking about that, but just from a understanding energy perspective. But we don't seem to hold ourselves accountable when it comes to the energy of our music and the energy of our culture. And when I say we don't hold ourselves accountable, I mean, all of us, we just continue to be a part of something, continue to promote it in different ways, whether that's blasting the music, whether that's supporting the music, whether that's, I don't know. It's just really bad. And when things get really bad, like whether it's a team, sports team, or anything else, that's when you need rules that come into play that are a lot more strict than we would expect them to be if things weren't in an extreme situation. So I know this conversation is going all over the place, but I always try to provide some type of solution with the critical thinking and the conversations that we have, rather than just, talking about it. But maybe there needs to be a push to, we need a reset button. And I don't know whether that's putting out a challenge to, get everybody to stop supporting all this music that describes exactly what we see happening, whether it's on South Beach or in any other neighborhood across the country. I don't know what exactly that looks like, but something has to change. Something has to change. I don't think people are comprehending, and maybe because we are so used to it, this is a vacation oasis that we're talking about. A vacation oasis. And I'm telling you, I spoke to people that same day before that shooting happened, after I put up that post saying too much and people commenting, going back and forth in the convos, with people responding to the story. And everything that happened, we were talking about like, yo, it's nigga energy. It's too much. Most people say like, yo, I couldn't do it. We're in a very dangerous place, and it's so funny. I'm connecting so many different thoughts in my head. I just started reading Napoleon Hill's book. What is it? Think and Grow Rich. Hold on, let me make sure I got. Yeah, Think and Grow Rich. Just another example of energy. So I was at Dubs. We were at our, visiting the Grow House in OKC. I was with him last weekend, and this book was on his couch. And then I'm on the beach working out this same day that I'm talking about. And somebody who's from where Shorty lives brings up this book. And they brought up two different books. One was Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, which I told him like, yeah, I just read that a little bit ago. And then he brought up this book, and I'm like, yo, my boy just had this book on his couch, and he was telling me like I need to read it. And that's energy. Like it's undeniable. It's energy. It's not like, oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's wild. No, that's alignment. It's energy. Energy is real. And in the book, Napoleon Hill, one of the first couple chapters, he's talking about how, and I haven't even processed it. I'm kind of processing it as I'm talking to you all. But he was talking about the energy, the desires that we allow into our lives, whether that's through the people that are most close to us, or just what we allow into our kind of energy field, can just as easily be a negative impact as a positive impact. So what does that have to do with this situation? As much as we can see how much of a negative impact terrible energy can have, it still gives us, I don't know if faith's the right word, but it gives us an opportunity with understanding to know that it can easily be flipped. We can easily change our culture from a terrible culture to a positive culture just based on the energy, just based on what are our desires, just based on who we look up to, what actions we see as cool, what actions we see as acceptable, honorable, where our principles are, where our morals, these same things that we always talk about. Because it's scary out here. It's scary out here. It's to the point where I think I was having a conversation maybe last week or something, and we were talking about how, who would be, talking about, we were talking about the Bronx or somewhere, and maybe we were talking about gentrification, and you'll see how white people will be in certain black neighborhoods that are seen as, a little sketch or a little dangerous, and they don't even care. They don't feel, there's no fear. They don't feel like they're in danger. And maybe it's because they're not. And I made the comment in the conversation, and I said, I would fear it's more dangerous for me walking in the Bronx, at night than it is for you, a white person, even if it's a black neighborhood, especially if it's a black neighborhood. And that's just the energy that we're on with each other. When I say we, I'm talking about black people. And it's got to stop. It's got to stop. I don't even know if, I don't know the first step. I know that the first step that we could take as individuals, but to figure out a way to impact enough people in a practical way, I'm not sure what the next step is, or what the right first step is, I should say. It's just, it's just bad. But I do want to go into what I was focusing on a little bit when I came to the book, where you surround yourself with a certain energy, you surround yourself with a certain people, and it can put you in an either positive situation or a negative situation. Because even in the groups that you're seeing, think about when you see a group of kids or a group of men or a group of women, most of the time they're very similar. And maybe that's a good first step for us to kind of evaluate our groups. And we talked about this before. We talked about who's in your T-Mobile top 5, who do you speak to and interact with the most, who are you around the most, and you're going to be an average of those 5 people. Maybe we need to all come to the table, get all 5 of us to come to the table and say, like, listen, this is the goal of where we want to get to. Nobody's happy with where we are. How do I get a little bit better in this area so I can lift the group's average? How does this person get better in that area to lift the group's average, and so on and so forth? Because clearly the powers that be, and I'm not talking about the powers that be white people. I'm not blaming white people for, that's not where, it's not going to go anywhere. When I say the powers that be, I'm talking about the influential people that are in our community that turn a blind eye to this stuff, that continue to push it to our kids, to our adults, because they profit off of it. Continue to take a bag of money from this particular group just to spew poison to our communities and not care about the consequences. There has to be a certain level of accountability and responsibility that we place on ourselves, because if not, it's only going to get worse until it's forced to get better. We're crashing so quickly. It's only gonna get worse until it's forced to get better, and that may mean, it just hit the bottom to the point where the only place you can go is back up. And we see, we understand that everything operates in cycles, but at this part of the cycle where we are, it's pretty low. It's pretty low. And I just wanted to share that with y'all. Share, just those talking points for us to kind of evaluate, how we're moving in this world, how we're conducting ourselves in society, the impacts that society has on us, and the impact that we are having on society by promoting certain things, by embracing certain things that define our culture. Like I said, if a shooting happened anywhere else in a different country, in a vacation resort or just a vacation oasis like South Beach is, it would really impact things. Really impact things. And I know that the police in that particular area will go above and beyond to secure that particular area because that's money for the entire community. And this has been going on. I can't even say that it's just a new thing. Like I said, I think the energy is only getting worse, and it has gotten worse. But this has been going on for a while. For a while, every time we have a large amount of black people down in South Beach, it seems to just be a situation that comes up. And maybe I'm biased to the point too where it happens, on South Beach with other cultures as well. And I'm not paying as close attention to it, but I'm telling you, me being there, it's different. The energy, I'm being real, man. The energy for what was it, race week? The F, I don't know what's the race? Those races down in Miami, the F50 or something. Hold on, let me look it up. The car race in Miami. Somebody say it. Somebody give me the Miami Grand Prix, the Formula One, F1. A lot of people were down there. The energy was different. Let me be very clear. For Formula One, for Miami Grand Prix, there were a lot of people down in Miami. The energy was different. It was a different culture of people down there. And I'm telling you, I don't even care. I don't care. I'm never the type stay on code or, not. You shouldn't criticize black people. Oh, man, dead all that dumb stuff. Like, that's the type of stuff that keeps us in the very same position that we're in and crashing. No, I'm being real. The energy at Miami Grand Prix, Formula One, with the same amount of people that were on South Beach, was different. It was not a demon energy like it was this past weekend when it's a whole lot of black people. It just is what it is. We got to start calling ourselves out. We got to start figuring out how we can move in this world to not condone these type of things from happening. And it can't be, oh, well, we got to stop listening to this music. Well, why should we have to stop listening to music? That other group of people, they listen to the same. No. If it impacts us differently, then we have to move differently. Period. So, and I'm going to jump on and make another video that kind of made me, I guess, open my eyes to this. And I didn't even really want to spend this much time on this topic just because it seems to just be the same thing being said over and over. And I didn't want it to just be complaining. I wanted to also, have us, kind of think about what can we do? What can we do to make this change? So that's what I'll leave y'all with. What can we do? What can we do? Because the civilized country that we live in, quote unquote civilized country, I should say, we shouldn't, these type of things shouldn't be happening, and we shouldn't be okay with them. And it shouldn't just be moving, the next day, all right, back to business, which I'm sure it was. We got to figure something out here. So y'all let me know what y'all thoughts and feedback are. What solutions do y'all have? What solutions do y'all have? And hopefully we can get this thing moving in the right direction. So with that, I'll let y'all go. Onward and upward, strength and honor. I want to say get to the bag with integrity, of course, but let's figure this out with integrity. Let's figure this whole thing out with integrity and move accordingly. All right. With that, I'll let y'all go. Ooh.